Welcome back to the lesson. In our previous video, we've successfully assigned our subject to our specific classes. And in this video, we're going to be creating our manage subject combination view. So let's go ahead and get started. Now let's head over to our project source code. And let's now go ahead and navigate to our sidebar. And under our add subject combination submenu, we're going to go ahead and create our manage subject combination menu. So let's go ahead and copy this. Come down below here, paste this right here, and then go ahead and say manage subject combination like so. And we're going to go ahead and change our route to manage subject combination. And now let's go ahead and create our route inside of our web.php file. Now let's head over to our web.php file. Let's go ahead and copy this route. Okay, copy, come down below here and paste it here. And now let's go ahead and update our route name. Let's come over here to our sidebar, copy our manage subject combination, our new route name. Let's go ahead and copy that. Come back here to our web.php file. Let's update this one. Okay, now let's go ahead and update our URL as well. Copy this. Instead of add subject combination, we're going to go ahead and say manage subject combination like so. And of course, our route method should be get. Okay, here should be manage subject combination as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and create our method. Let's copy this. Let's go to our subject controller. Right under our store subject combination. Right here, let's go ahead and say public function and paste our method name, and then let's go ahead and open our declaration box, copy this, say end method. Okay, here in our manage subject combination, we're going to be needing information from various table. For instance, we're going to be needing information that are being stored inside of our pirate table, and also information from our classes table and also our subject table. So here now we're going to be joining these three tables together and then go ahead and fetch the specific information that we need from each table. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to be doing that using the database query. So let's go ahead and create a variable called results. This is where we're going to be storing our information. And let's go ahead and say is equals to db database table like so. And then let's say first of all we wanted to access our pirate table, which is classes underscore subject table. And then after that we're going to be joining our classes table. Okay, let me come down here. Let's say join. Okay, let's say classes table, and then our second parameter is going to be our classes ID column inside of our pirate table, which is this column right here, classes ID. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay, let's go ahead and first say inside of our classes subject table, we have another column called classes ID like so. And then our third parameter is going to be our classes ID, which is going to be inside of our classes table, we have a column called ID like so. And then we're going to go ahead and join our subject table as well. Okay, let's say join subject table. I believe that's the name if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, here it says subject. Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and say inside of our classes subject table, let's copy that, paste it. We have another column called, let's go ahead and take a look, subject ID, yes. Okay, dot subject underscore ID like so. And then our third parameter is going to be our subject ID. So inside of our subjects table, we have a column called ID. Okay, now let's go ahead and start selecting our information from our various tables. So let's say select. Okay, from our classes subject table, which is our pirate table right here, classes subject, let me go ahead and copy that. I'm going to select everything by using the asterisk symbol. I'm selecting everything inside of our classes subject table. Let me actually go ahead and open this like so. Okay, All right, it will be more cleaner. So let's go ahead and say comma, and then inside of our classes table, all right, I wanted to get our class name, which is right here. Let me go ahead and navigate to our classes. Okay, I wanted to get this our class name and section, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's say class underscore name, and then I'm going to go ahead and say it inside the same classes table. Copy this. Okay, inside the same classes table, I wanted to get our section right here, section column. Okay, and then after getting our classes and section, then we're going to go ahead and set inside of our subject table. Let's copy that. Okay, let's come over here and say comma. Okay, inside of our subject table, let's go ahead and open our subject table, subjects. Okay, we wanted to grab only our subject name. Let's go ahead and grab only our subject name. So let's say dot subject underscore name. Okay, and now let's go ahead and say get. Call the get method. Let me actually go ahead and take it down here like so. Okay, let's now go ahead and load our DB. Let's say import, class imported successfully. Okay, as you can see, we have it here. Use illuminate support facade DB. Make sure that is loaded. So now, friend, basically what we are doing here, we actually go ahead and take these three tables, our pivot table and also classes and subject table, and join them all together, and then go ahead and select some specific information from each one of these three tables. For our classes subject table, which is our pivot table, we are selecting everything. This star symbol simply means we are selecting all. And inside of our classes table that we join, we are getting only our class name and also our section. And inside of our subject table, we only get our subject name. So that's simply all about this database query that we just written here. So now let's go ahead and return our view. Let's go ahead and create our view now that we have all of our data saved inside of our result variable. So let's go ahead and say return view. Okay, now let's go ahead and create our view inside of our backend folder, inside subject, and then let's go ahead and say manage subject combination, and then we're going to go ahead and pass our result using the compact method. Copy this, paste this right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and create our view, our manage subject combination view. Let's go ahead and copy this. Let's find our view, resource, views, and inside backend we have subject. Okay, now inside subject, let's go ahead and create our view. Say manage subject combination dot blade dot php like so, and then hit enter. Okay, our manage subject view is going to look somehow similar to our manage subject. Okay, we're going to be having a data table, and we're going to be populating all the information that we fetch from our result variable right here, and then populating it inside of our data table. So let's go ahead and copy this, our manage subject view. So let's go ahead and do that, copy it and manipulate it. So let's find that. Let's come over here to our view. Under subject, we have manage subject. Okay, let's go ahead and reduce this small. And let's go ahead and copy everything. Copy. Now let's go to our manage subject combination and paste this right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and say view word wrap. Okay, now let's go ahead and start with our page title. It's going to be manage subject combination like so, and then here should be manage, not subject but combination like so, and then here is going to be view subject combination. Okay, something like this, view subject combination info. All right, okay, now we're going to go ahead and start working on our heading. Our first heading should be for class and section. So let's go ahead and change this. Let's go ahead and say class and section, like so. And then our second heading should be for subject. So let's go ahead and raise this. Let's say subject. And then the third should be for status. So let's say status, like so. Okay. And then the last should be action. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. We're not going to be needing this. Okay, our heading is classes and section, subject, status, and action. So that's fine. So now let's go ahead and work on our dynamic section. Okay, this time around we're not getting subject, but rather we're getting results. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's come back here and say result as result, singular result. Okay, and now let's go ahead and start displaying our information. Let's go ahead and copy this variable. Let's say result. Okay, inside of our result we fetch our class name. Okay, let's go ahead and display our class name here. So let's go ahead and say copy. Now let's get back to our manage subject combination and paste this. Alright, now we are displaying our class name. Let me go ahead and get rid of $1 here. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. Copy, and now let's go ahead and give a space and say section, like so. Paste this like so, and here we're going to be displaying our class section. So let's go ahead and copy our section right here. Copy. Now let's get back here and say paste. So our first heading here, class and section, will say class so section so. You get the idea. So let's go ahead and continue with our code. Now let's go ahead and copy this, copy, and then let's go ahead and replace this down below here. And this time around we're going to be displaying our subject. Okay, well, subject is right here. We have fetch our subject name from our subject table. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's come back here and say subject. For our third heading is going to be for our status. So let's go ahead and say result. Copy this. Result. Let's go ahead and say status. Remember, we fetched our status from our classes subject table right here. So we fetch everything from our classes subject table, which is our fiber table. So let me go ahead and show you that. Inside of our classes subject table, we're going to find our status right here. So we're going to go ahead and say status here, our result status, and then our last heading is for action. So we're not going to be needing this second to the last. That's very cool. And for our icons, we're not going to be needing the two. So let's go ahead and get rid of one. I think one is okay. Okay. And of course we need to change this variable. Paste this like so. So let's go ahead and save our file, save all. Now let's run our optimize command, php artisan optimize. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look. Let's refresh our application. Alright, now let's head to our manage subject combination. Yes, as you can see, we are having our classes information. We have class 1, section A, which is this code right here that we say result class name, section dash result section. This is it right here. Okay, that's fine. And here we said we have our subject. Okay, that's result subject, and then our status, which is 1. Okay, that's very good. That's very good. So let's go ahead and work on this status section. Okay, for our status section, I don't want to just print out the default value from our database, but instead, let's go ahead and say, let's go ahead and clean this. Let me expand our table data. And then I'm going to go ahead and use one of the condition. Let's go ahead and say at if. Okay, if our $result status is equals to 1. If our status is equals to 1, let's go ahead and give one of this span and say active. Okay, if our status is equals to 1, it should display active. So let's go ahead and add a class to it. Let's say badge bg success, like so. And then else, if it is not equals to 1, at else. Okay, let's go ahead and print inactive. Copy this, come down below here, paste this, let's indent this some more and said inactive, like so. And then let's go ahead and end our if down below here at end if. Okay, something like this. So basically what we are saying here is if our status is equals to 1, then it should go ahead and print out this badge active, and otherwise you should go ahead and print out the badge inactive. And of course we're going to go ahead and change this badge background color to danger, because inactive should be red and active should be green. So let's go ahead and save our file. Save. Now let's go ahead and take a look. Refresh our application. Yes, as you can see now our status is active because our status is equals to 1. This is the condition. If you go ahead and take a look inside of our database, remember our default value, we set it to be 1. Okay, later on I'm going to be showing us how we can go ahead and change this value to make it inactive. Okay, so now let's get back to our application. Okay, for this our icon, this our action, we're not going to be needing this anymore, but instead we're going to be using a check icon instead of this edit icon. So let's go ahead and find that inside of our project theme. Okay, let's come over here to icons. Let's open Font Awesome 5, and now let's go ahead and find our icon. Let's hold down Control plus F. Okay, a search bar will pop up here, so let's go ahead and say check. We're looking for check. Okay, yes, I'm gonna go with this one. So let's go ahead and copy our class name, font awesome check. So let's go ahead and copy this. Now let's get back to our code. Here in our icon, the class font awesome edit, replace this right here, font awesome check. Now let's go ahead and save our file. Save. And now let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, let's refresh our application. Yes, this is actually what we are looking for. Alright, perfect. Now everything is good. We have our classes and section. Okay, we have class 1, section A, and here we have all the subjects that are being assigned to this specific class. Okay, and our status say active, and we have our icon here. So friend, that will be it for this video. I hope everything is clear to you, and in our next video we're going to be talking about deactivating and reactivating our subject combination using this icon right here. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.